What's going on, guys? It's Luke here from Mr. FBA UK, bringing you another video. So today we're going to be going over March, sort of income, I guess, income and sales and all that, and reflecting on Q1 because obviously now Q1's over, the sort of the worst quarter, I guess, or the building quarter, and now you can sort of look to push on setting your foundations in Q1 and setting out like a good plan for the rest of the year. So I haven't done too many videos lately just because I don't want to chuck loads of random crap out there and it not really be that relevant. So what we're going to do is be going over all the costs, sales, literally everything. Yeah, this is literally like what I do. So we're going to be going over March, my sales reports and income. So literally I'll be showing you literally how much money I've made. Yeah. And it's not, like anyone, you can see here. So what I've done is I've broken it down into income here. I've got all my expenses. I've got variable costs, so that will be stuff that is not like month to month. So for example, here I've got accountant. You can see obviously like some of these are eBay fees. I've sold like the odd thing, so that's a variable cost. It's not going to be every month. I don't usually sell on eBay, so that would just be the one-off. So that way I can basically I can almost like plan for next month, knowing what my minimum expenditure will be, maximum expenditure, maybe a rough variable expenditure. And I'll show you how much I made, where I made it, and we'll then reflect on Q1 as a whole. So I'll jump over to SELLERBOARD after this, show you my March sales and the Q1 sales. So if you don't already know, of course, when you do online arbitrage, everyone thinks you're going to make loads of money, and you can do if you pump a lot of money in over a long period of time. You can do, and definitely over Christmas. So a lot of people will start perking up on the groups at Christmas, saying they've done all these sales. I've done 100 grand in a month. In a month, yeah. So some people can do 100 grand in a month, but a lot of it is only for that quarter, or even just December, or maybe the 20th of November to the 20th of December. That will be the period where that will be visible. But the rest will be probably 30k, 40k, that sort of level. But of course, I restructured my whole year. I basically don't subscribe to any sourcing softwares at all, because I wanted to see what I could do. Of course, like I said before in the other videos, what I could do on just online arbitrage. So I don't do any retail arbitrage. I might start adding some in when the weather gets a little bit nice. I like to go out, get out of the house maybe half a day or one day a week. That'd be nice. But at the minute, it's basically replenishables, and I'm also trying to get maybe like top heavy on groceries, so that the VAT I pay is 0, therefore providing me more profit. So let's start with the expenses. So this is literally all of my month's expenses, and the reason I put it in green, and you can see here it's yellow and red, is because green is basically essential. There's no real, I don't necessarily have to have Keeper, for example, but for me, I find it a necessary cost for what I'm doing. And I'm not going to really ever get rid of it for any reason, unless there's something that overrides it. Yeah. So you can see here accountancy, and I've got VAT that I can obviously claim back. So I've split the VAT and the cost. Same with the mobile. Now, actually, what I've done with this mobile, you can see it's ridiculous. I've spent like £94 on this a month because like a couple of years ago when I was doing well on like quit my job and all that, I was like, yeah, I'm a businessman, let's go. So I was like, yeah, let's get the best phone and like the best contract. But now I'm like actually realizing that wasn't quite the best move. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and basically paid off the contract, got the same phone. So it's an iPhone X. Got exactly the same phone. That's more. So I went from 64 gig to 256 gig. Same phone, same condition. So basically, and I've obviously it looks exactly the same now. Like there's no way I could tell it's different. And I pay £50 a month less. So yeah, I just done that because I had to pay 430, and I got back 390 for the phone. So the reason I've got this phone difference at 40 is because that's an unnecessary cost that will not be there next month. So I basically tried to figure out what my costs are in advance, just to be proactive. And so you got green as essential. I have to pay the eBay costs to get whatever income I made from that fee. You can see here, like I went and basically bought breakfast at the airport, Stansted Airport. So I put that so I can claim the VAT. Nothing special there. Phone difference. Now this is obviously variable. Well, that should be green. Could have sold some stuff. But like Audible, I don't subscribe to it now because I don't really want any more books, but I don't really need it. It's just there because it's nice to have an audiobook. And you get like 2 or 3 credits a month for that. But anyway, you can see mobile phone, petrol, I put petrol, sellerboard, boxes that I'll go through and look how much I basically spent on boxes. Tape, the basics, paper and ink, Amazon Prime, BQ, Fast Host, which is like my what I did originally for my email, and it's a bit too annoying. It's the worst. They never go for Fast Host because they're awful, but I can't really see an easy way to integrate across to someone else, so I've just left it. QuickBooks, that's like Ocado, Tesco's, and Asda. They charge you a monthly fee. I think it's not Asda, but the other two, just to basically have free deliveries. I think through the month. Get ungated, or that's get unsuspended. So like suspension safeguard, keeper, of course, and like my bank obviously charge me interest if I go into my overdraft. It just charges me whatever it is, and that's the monthly fee. So that's actually that's the total, and that's the VAT I've claimed back. Well, I've not paid it, of course. Well, no, sorry, I have paid it. So yeah, that is true actually. So I have paid that. So in a way, so I need to actually. So yeah, it's very, very difficult. And so I switched to what's happened? To standard VAT from flat rate, and the flat rate was very simple. Now there's lots of little variables I've got to. I'll just leave that there. So you can see here what I've done here. Okay, great. We'll go up here. So you can see I've moved this into red, meaning this is not essential. So that cost, is that right? Yeah, extra spend was like I paid for Uber on it when I was going to like see have a business meeting. Oh, Jesus Christ, what's going on here? And probably bought some lunch, that sort of thing. So accumulated over the month. Or maybe I bought like something on Amazon, like a book or something related, that sort of thing. It's clearly the correct price. Right. So that I can basically say is non-essential. And also this is good because if I see that every month I'm spending 100, before you spend 20 quid here, £5 here, but actually if you're wasting 218 quid on lunches or something, you might decide otherwise. And like a lot of the thing, a lot of people have massive expenses, but that means they have to do massive in sales. So they have £1,000 because they have the best, online arbitrage deals. They have FBA Wizard, they have tactical arbitrage, they have, I don't even know what else. All of these things. They have prep centers, and then they spend like £1,000 a month, and it's great. But you have to then do double the amount of sales then that I'm maybe doing to cover those costs before you make profit yourself. So I decided to do the opposite, and also that means you have to do less work essentially. So that's my non-essential. So anyway, we get to the income. So let's go through. So I got affiliate commission, 60 quid, pretty insignificant, but like anything, 60 quid covers my accountancy fees. So you can, a lot of people will think that's nothing, but if you built up 100 businesses, different income streams, you would potentially. So I was just double checking that was correct. You potentially just get 10 grand a month income or something. So I have a prep center that it's not open anymore. It's something I'm going to probably get out of at some point. It was something I did a couple of years ago. But the current clients I just keep on and get a little bit. I have someone that comes in and helps me, and that's actually without VAT. That value there. So really, I need to add on the VAT. The reason I do it through this VAT calculator, that's a what calculator, it's because it's if you have 100 quid and you think take off the VAT, you'd think it's 20 quid, but it's like 1667. So like naturally you would think, oh, take off 20%, or what's 20% of 100, and then that's what people do. So I always double check, because obviously when it comes to VAT, I've got to submit it to and pay and all that sort of thing. So really, you want to make sure you get, even if it makes you look stupid, that one time you don't check. So at the moment I've got this extra. So this is sort of a mixture of a cash flow. Let me just put, so the reason because currently I paid it out, but I actually need to claim it back. But I guess I have used that figure. Yeah, I don't really include it because it's, yeah, so it's my first proper quarter doing this. I'll leave that there. You can ignore that for now. It's just for me later. So you got Amazon income. So this is literally the income I made from Amazon. So yeah, that's pretty. I'll go over that in a minute on the dashboard on SELLERBOARD, so you can actually see my March and also Q1, so you can get through that. But you can see that my eBay, yeah, that's what I meant. So I paid some eBay fees, but you know, credit card cashback. Normally I get cashback, but because something happened to my card or something that wasn't working, so I took out some. You can like send that credit card balance to your bank, my business bank, and I couldn't get, something happened to my business card, and I wanted to make sure I had enough to cover some, I forgot what I was doing now, VAT or something. So I basically just drew it down into my account, but they charged me like £16, I think, for the total. So the £18 I made in cashback for that month, I basically just thought I just put 0 because it's pretty much the same. That cashback is cashback. It's like complete savings. Other is something else. I would go into my personal, but I don't really want you seeing all of the things that I do personally, you know. Yeah, because I have basically a personal tab and a business tab, and then I filter it through onto a summary page, which is not here, to see what direction my life's going, I guess you could call it, and how it's going. So you can see here the total income in cash that I received was £4,408.28. That's probably something like personal sales or something. I probably sold something, or I don't know, something. Obviously put it there for a reason. So my total income is that. So this is the amount of VAT that is actually related to here. So you can see it in here. So, but the reason that it's so high is because it's obviously including, so this is for March, yeah. So what I need to do is really, I need to get this VAT down. But in terms of sales, I did 14,500 in sales. You can 1,000, which is pretty. I mean, for me, like last year, Christmas time, year before, I've been doing 40 and 50 grand. So it's relatively low, but it is Q1, and it has picked up since March, since February, and I haven't really been doing much more. I'm basically just been adopting the principle I'm currently doing. But with this VAT, of course, the difference here. Oh, that was the VAT from the prep service that I was going to add back. Here it is. Because actually, I've currently got that, I guess. But so if we equal this plus that minus that, that's sort of like my net income. So if I wanted to pay myself that, I would break even pretty much. I know I've got some of these VAT bits are a bit, you know, but yeah, you get what I'm trying to say. But obviously, at the time of, well, as of now, I haven't paid March because March is due in July. So you can see here. So obviously, I've got to recoup and pay. But the good thing about this is that I've said in my previous visit, and this is not financial advice because I've seen people say you can't give. Well, it looks like I'm giving it, but I'm not. Like, I'm just talking stuff. Because I don't have to pay till July, so I've just paid like £2,780 or something for my VAT, and that included a big bunch so most of it was from December. Most of that was part of December's, and my January and February sales were pretty shit because I was restructuring, and it's January and February. But with that 1,100, so this is what I do. I don't have to pay this till July, so I will actually, I won't put that in the bank. Some people put it in a separate part of their bank and just save it up and pay it. I'll leverage that. And what I mean is that isn't my money, okay? But it is until July the 7th or whatever, yeah. So I will leverage that and make profit on it. So let's say I make 30% on that. Well, now the overall VAT bill is not, you know, 12300. Let's just say, I know this is not exactly how you do it, but plus 30%. That's not right. This is just an example. I know it's not. 1123 plus 30%. Like 336 quid, give or take. Wow, that's 37. So now my overall bill is what? £787. You see what I'm trying to say? So even though this is actually figures-wise what I've made, I can, for 3 months, I can basically pump that in and out. And as I get, so I'll have, next month is, so I've got April now. So I've got all of April to use this money, May, and then June. And as June goes in, I have to now be a bit more careful to not basically have nothing in the bank. And that's where, so I have 2 months of basically just pumping it in and out, because normally buy stock that within 1 month it sells, give or take. And then the last month, but I can also do this with next month's VAT. I can do it for 1 month or 1 month and a half. And as the end of June comes in, I'll trickle back on the purchases. It's just how I do it. Yeah, so I might have the odd week where I'm not sending in too much because I'm basically reserving. I'm holding back. So I've just paid £2,700. Obviously, I've purposely held back for about a week. Just to make sure I have enough to pay, because you don't want to get in a position. So I'd rather be a bit more cautious at that point. But I've leveraged this. So even though I'm being a bit more cautious, you might think, well, you're going forwards and then go backwards. Yeah, but I'm having 3 months of using that, and then 2 months of using this month, and then 1 month of using following month. You get what I'm trying to say? So even though that is my net profit for the month, yeah, that's still decent. Considering I don't, and this is only March, so. Now only being March, it's now pushing towards where people are starting to spend more money again. January and February pretty scarce, and March is where it starts to pick back up, and you can see that from looking over here. So, and this is implementing the same things that I was doing for the previous 2 months. So I haven't been doing anything different. You see, in terms of what I'm gonna cover some of this stuff up so you to see everything I'm selling. But yeah, so this is basically March, and yes, there was 31 days, so obviously it doesn't matter. And February was 28, so if you have 300, 600, £700 days, it does change. It can or more, it can affect it, but that's fine. We're just but I haven't done anything. But obviously, I've been leveraging that VAT that I talked about. So I've done about £5 more in sales by doing nothing more. And obviously, I wouldn't. I don't know, but I can't see what would have happened. But if I hadn't spent that extra money, that VAT sum I had, maybe this wouldn't be. I wouldn't have done £5 more in sales. And obviously, with £5 more in sales, what profit is that? Well, let's say I'm going off a basis of 30%. Well, then if I just put it in the bank and left that VAT money, I wouldn't have done as many sales and wouldn't have made as much money to then offset against that VAT. If you get what I'm trying to say. So now you can see here, and it's a bit annoying because I had 43 refunds, which is, even though it says only at 3%, but it was all those Terry's chocolate orange damn things. I sold loads in Germany and the UK. And I think the Germany ones haven't even come. They're not even. I think they happened on the 1st of this month or something, April. But yeah, 43 is basically. I think it was 150 quid's worth of refunds or something. A little annoying, but it's just what it is. I haven't ever seen that before happen in 3 years or something. So we allow it. So that would have been a bit higher, but okay. And then we can jump through to my quarter, and now we'll review the quarter. So this is just going to be my Amazon income, of course. So what we can do is we can see it's 32.5k, which is, when it comes, so in perspective, this is relatively on the lower side of what many people will be doing. And it's on the lower side because of the way I'm doing it. I'm basically doing the opposite of most people. I'm trying to have my costs almost as low as I can, so that I don't have to, so I can start making profit from day 1 or day 2, rather than having to work 14 days. So people might have double that, but because their expenditure is huge, maybe £1,000 or £700 more than what I got or something, their sales has to be in reflection to that. So it might be that their sales is 50. So don't look at that and think, oh, that's just, some people might think that's quite nice, like, oh, I like that. But some people might think it's relatively on the lower side, and it is, but it's also depending on how you see it. Yeah. So you can't just take it as that. You can't just take it as that's only one part of the puzzle. Then there's all the other elements you've got to add together to get an answer. It's just like anything. You can't look at. I can show you a sample of the best stocks and shares that have gone up in a day, and you think, okay, awesome, let's go and invest in the stock market. But of course, it's not going to be like that. Most of it doesn't do anything. So that's reflect. So if you look here, I've done that, and let's just jump back to that chart. And I'm going to quickly just add together. Let's just go ahead and see roughly what my other income have been. 726 quid. There's a lot of shit on here, to be fair. Affiliate. Plus 1,777. That'll do. Let's get back so I don't delete all that. GM. That looks pretty good. Okay, we just go off that. I did just jump to my personal one by accident, so it'd be blurred out in a bit. Don't think I'm trying to hide, so otherwise you get to see my day-to-day. It's nothing exciting. It's like Now TV. Just all that crap. Right, so we've got that. So we're going to add that to 32. Well, it's not correct because obviously this is sales, not the profit. Okay, we won't worry about that. That's just said in about 35, including all the other extras. So it's a good start for the year. So because it's the first quarter as well, I'm not going to rely on it as a projection for future months. It should increase. So I should see a steady increase. So I've done 32 here. Maybe I should be seeing 39 to the 40 range for the next end of quarter. So by, what is it? End of June. And then so on and so on. Because what you want to do is you want to build that momentum going forward for Christmas is the ultimate goal. So looking at it as a sample, as in 1 month, it's what I would say is okay to slightly over okay for what my so I would say, yeah, it's met what I was expecting, because what I was expecting, because I had a really awful Q1 the year before, so I lost money because I basically had to use my profits from the Q4 2017 to pay for almost the whole of Q1 because I didn't really know how to tackle it. So this year I was like, well, I want to at least pay XYZ and make some money. Well, so that was my goal, and that's why I restructured the way I had, because I'm more focusing on a yearly. So before I used to think week to week, month to month, thinking, oh, what's going to happen next month? What if? But now I'm more thinking year to year. So again, you got to build this into the picture, the bigger picture. So it's met my target, is what I'm going to say on this. So yeah, it'd be great to do more, and that you can do that in a month after Q1. Which is fine. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'll be adopting the same method as I'm currently adopting, but trying to. So what I've actually also done, another another thing I've done is I've tried to overbuy stock rather than buying, say, 10 units. I'm buying 20 to 30, so that I'm never having a day or 2 days or 3 days where stock is out of stock, because it takes you time So the reason it went to 14, you saw that jump, is another reason is because I used that money as well. So a little tactic I did is I used the VAT money that I'm trying to leverage to buy more of everything that I know is so it's a replenishable. So I know it's going to keep selling rather than a random item. But I'm overstocking so that let's say over the weekend where I'm not paying as much attention to what's selling, it sells in abundant. And then I look and I've only got 2 in stock. Okay, so then I buy some more. It comes minimum tomorrow, if I can get tomorrow or the day after. By the time it gets in, it's 5 days. Those 2 sell in one day. And now I've got 3 days or 4 days where it's nothing just getting sold. And let's say you've got 200 product lines. Well, what's going to happen then? You've got 200 product lines, and now you've lost 600 sales. Yeah, over potentially over the month. If that's how it's going. So I've basically been overstocking, so that when I get down to about 10 or 9 or 8, it's already coming tomorrow, and by the time I get it in, it's around the lower numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, rather than waiting until it's at below 5 and then restocking, which has helped me maximize my sales exposure. So in theory, you might be looking, oh, my sales are so low, but actually, if you were just in stock in the stuff that you know that you can sell, you would have done 80, no, not 80%, like 40% more in sales. So it's not that you haven't found the products to sell, it's that you haven't maximized your buy box exposure over the month because the products are out of stock. I guess that's the best way to say it. Yeah. Now, I know that a lot of this data, this is for me, this is my data, and obviously each person's going to be different. So you've got to be careful when you look at this as well, that you don't think either, oh, it's not worth doing online arbitrage, or it's oh, this is amazing, or it's not amazing. I don't know, whatever. Because obviously it's to each and their own. And I'm not just doing Amazon, I'm doing other things as well. I made, last month was £1,700 extra. This month was 800-ish. So I'm also making, so I don't need to potentially maximize this, because to be online arbitrage is a stepping stone to other things. So my income from the other things is where I'm going. Yeah. So if you get what I'm trying to say. So eventually I want this to this could even go lower. I could just make £1,000 a month, £2,000 a month, or it's seasonally, but less focus. And then the other areas of income are increasing over time. So that you got to also bear that in mind, rather than it just being the only thing I make money off. Like there's zero income coming from any other area. So that's also something you've got to pay attention to. So I'm not going to go into any more because I've got the online arbitrage summit event tomorrow, but I'm going today, and I've foolishly, well, maybe not foolishly, got a 9.5-hour coach trip. I think it's because it stopped for a while. I didn't even realise it stops. Got to wait, but it's because it was like £80 more for the train, and the train still takes 5.5 hours or something, and I got a couple more hours in the coach for like 70-80 quid extra. Don't have to pay. And I thought, it's a couple of hours. I can just work on the coach. To be fair, they're going to have I checked, they got like Wi-Fi and like charger ports and stuff. I thought, I'll just work. It's not going to, doesn't really make a difference. I'll be sitting in the hotel room working, or I'll be on the coach working. So 7 for an extra 80 quid. Yeah, that'll do. It all adds up in the end, doesn't it? So hopefully this is just giving you a nice insight into everything. Yeah, and it's not like I make ridiculous amounts of money, and a lot of it's seasonal. So a lot of people won't make huge amounts of money 9 months of the year. They won't. You can. The people who are like, they've invested, say, 20, 30, 40 grand in stock, yeah, then they've got a shit ton of stock, basically. And they're able to push it through because they're more they've got like stock that's there year round. It's not short term, 1-2 months. It's more, it's been, they've got stock that they're buying now for Christmas and they're going to make a premium of say 30% at Christmas because they know it's going to sell better. So they're far more, they've got a lot more capital behind them to be able to leverage, so they can buy for later on in the year when they can make more profit. But overall, it now looks, so a couple of years down the line, it looks like they're doing great, which they are. But it just depends on your outlook. So for me, I'm obviously going down different routes. Online arbitrage is that little stepping stone. It's very, very simple. relatively simple compared to other things. But not everyone wants to do that. This is just the way I'm doing it. But at least you get to see the way I'm doing it rather than there is no one way to do it. And a lot of people believe there is just one way, and everyone does the same thing. To be fair, I think if you don't do it that way, it doesn't work. But it does. You can play around, and the longer you're in it, the more things you can see and figure out. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. If you've got any comments, just put it down here. Yeah, hopefully you'll enjoy the video and let me know if you think it was shit. Then I will take note of that. Anyway, I'll see you on the next video.